Oh. Hi, this is Lisa Cove from Evolve Women's Wellness, and today on our podcast we have Michelin, our holistic nutritionist, Christine, our doula, postpartum and labor doula, and our women's empowerment coach. Tasha is our holistic counselor and Reiki master, and Renee Wallace, our psychotherapist. So thank you all for being here today. Today, feelings and energy that people are experiencing right now, because people are going through highs and lows.
Oh.
Right? People are feeling happy to be home in a certain sense, and then, you know, a day will hit you where it's really hard and the stress and magnitude of everything that's going on will hit. So then, you know, I see it with my husband who's going to work still every day and he's feeling it in a different way. So that's what we wanted to touch on.
Yeah, because I think everybody, like, globally is dealing and coping in their own ways, right? There's not one right way to do it.
Well, no, just right. A while ago, I was really feeling pissed off about the whole, even just getting on. I'm not saying upset with anyone, but then I realized that, whoa, this requires a password. And that's within a couple of days since we had our last session that things changed. But I did post on Facebook the interview with the guy who established Zoom. And he's saying even that's created a high level of anxiety among people because we're all thrown into using Zoom, and then the whole overflow changed the situation. So it's like a minute by minute change, and sometimes you don't even know something has changed. Yeah. Daughter, I said, I'm feeling as though there's another layer that's going on with this crisis. It's that people who were seemingly in crisis before, like, for example, couples therapy, I haven't heard from them. It's like they're in total lockdown mode to the point where that which was a problem is less of a problem now, given the light of what we're dealing with. And so your husband, who is doing something that you don't want him to do, is suddenly become less threatening.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's a possibility. Like, you're looking at everything through a whole different lens, right? Like,
yes.
Everything that seemed like a big deal before kind of shifts gears and
shift.
I used to work at City Kids, and my concern is the kids that are living in poverty or in abused homes. And so I did a prayer for them yesterday, but I was just thinking of them, like, what are they doing? They don't have the school outlet. They don't have the City Kids group anymore. They're not even probably eating like they normally would have because they had the school program, the food program.
Yes.
And it's those, you know, those for the women that are, you know, abused and that. So those are my thoughts right now.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
No, it's definitely, we're very lucky and fortunate to live the lives that we live, because there's a lot of people, this lockdown, people are complaining that they can't go on the trails, or they can't go to a Canadian Tire store or something. And that is really the least of, that's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. It's not a big deal. But your reality is your reality. And when you take away things that are your reality, whether we look at the bigger picture or not, that can still make you depressed. That can still make you sad. Like, if I can't go and do my shopping, I can't go on my weekly bike rides or my weekly, that's my reality. Whether or not, like, I feel I have empathy for other people, but at the same time, what I did to maintain my own mental health before being taken away is kind of, you know, it's hard to explain. It's like looking at different parts of the world too and talking about hunger or something like that. Our reality is our reality. And when we take that away, people still are going to feel stressed over that, right?
Of course. Like New York, Queens. When I look at Queens, New York, I'm overwhelmed with what I'm seeing there, because the poorest of the poorest are the people who are suffering and dying. And with their government and lack of universal health care, as how we have it, where if you get a sniffle, you could still go. Those people who lost their jobs, they don't have coverage. So it's all combined in the web of humanity that we belong to. And you feel happier that at least you can sit here and wade through it, rather than knowing that even if you were feeling something, you're going to say, where's that money going to come from now?
Yeah.
That's a bigger thing, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a little bit all over the place, and the whole day-to-day changes. I don't own a TV. I don't watch the news or listen to the news. I've caught little snippets of radio, going in the car because my children's father and then my children and I have been the ones that have kind of been together, right? So they're with, my kids are with their dad right now, and then they come back with me on Friday. And so we've just been hanging out every day together, trying to get out for fresh air together and things like that. So that's been my little bubble. So I'm aware, so I'm getting, I get my information as I need. People are sort of letting me know as changes come up. I'll go on and maybe get a little bit of information, but I find it can be very overwhelming. So I'm just mindful of that, like as much information as I need. Because I noticed one night I went on and I was looking at statistics, and then I was all of a sudden, then it was a snowball effect of all of a sudden I was looking up all these different things. And I'm just really trying to go back into that. The best thing that I can do really for myself and for my family is to be as stress-free as possible. So if I'm noticing that I'm overwhelmed by social media or the news, then I need to pull that back. So I really, like, I think I mentioned it last time we talked, I'm really trying to go back to basics. So cooking, baking, talking with friends and family. I realized, like, I haven't hugged an adult for about a month.
Yeah.
My kids are amazing and I love them, but I was missing that, I haven't hugged another adult for a really long time. And I was like, wow, I didn't really notice, I don't have a partner. And so I was really feeling that, and just trying to be easy, be gentle on myself. That's a few things that a few of my friends, we've said to each other, like yesterday was a rough day. It was an anniversary in my life, a pretty big anniversary of a year ago. And I just allowed myself to be without an agenda. And I had the privilege of not having the kids here. So I just sort of let myself be. And I'm trying to meditate and do yoga. I'm dancing a lot. I feel like that's a really good release for the emotions. Shake it out. And again, and with food and nutrition, like, those are things that I can control. Right? I can control that I'm getting out for a walk if I feel a little bit low. I can control, with reason of where I'm going and social distancing and all of that. Or even sitting on my front steps and getting a little bit of sun while I'm having coffee. And controlling the food that I put into my body and things like that. So my thing is being gentle on myself and one day at a time, because as we said, things are shifting so rapidly.
Great.
No, you're right. And I can go next about how I'm feeling. I don't really know how I'm feeling. I guess I reevaluate every single day on the topic. I am finding a new way to enjoy being at home when I, in the past, struggled with being at home more. But now I realize that this is kind of the reality, and I have things to do. I'm okay. But I feel like I'm on two sides of the coin, so I'm feeling like pressure to be mindful of what the government's doing in terms of limiting our kind of rights to do things. And that's, like, I understand there's a need for that, but I also am looking at the larger picture and saying, well, what can we do to make sure that we maintain rights through all of this, and rights to movement and rights to freedoms and everything. I know that there is a need. And the reality is that all of us, nobody actually knows how this is going to go until afterwards. It's going to be the hindsight that tells us whether or not we've done the right thing on the back end of this pandemic, right? But it is important for myself and my generation and everything to maintain the rights that we have in this country, and be sure that we're, and that's where a new level of fear comes from. And it's driven by social media. It's driven by people saying, look what they're doing. They don't let us do anything anymore. And I look at it from both sides. I say, okay, there's good reason, but then there's also good reason to still be able to do things. So I'm struggling with that in my own home, where my husband still has to go to work every day. So it's really hard for him to say, okay, I have to go to work every day, but when I get home, I must stay inside my house at all times. So we're struggling on that side of it. So I'm just kind of competing agendas in my head, I guess, is how I'm fearful of the future. But then I'm also knowing that like we're going to come back on the downside of this, and in my head, everything's going to be normal after a few months.
It'll be a new normal, right? It'll be a new normal. The landscape's going to look a heck of a lot different than it did, because it has to, right? I mean, there's been that paradigm shift. It has to look different. It's not going to look the same, right? I mean, the reality is businesses are going to close and they're not going to reopen.
That's right.
Right. And in the meantime, how do we stay afloat? How do we keep it? How do we hold it together? Right.
Already, even some businesses are shifted their model to making something different.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How amazing is that? You know, because although it's good, it just irks me into thinking, wow. So then it even incites competition with other companies that normally make those things. So, you know, it's just amazing how it's going to shift.
Lisa, back to what you were saying, I'm thinking too, for yourself, you are a thinker, and maybe what you need to do is just day by day, because you're keeping busy. You've got a little one, but you're also doing a lot for Evolve. And, you know, I think too, these weekly meetings, we kind of get to know each other a little bit, and maybe there's a bit of sanity in this too.
Definitely. I agree with that. Yes.
And we have to get it out.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have other adults there or whatever, you've got a lot of kids. So I think we really have to go day by day, because we don't know. And I heard something today about the farmers are really worried because they can't get the immigrants to come in to work the field. So especially asparagus, right? And I'm thinking, well, why can't we get younger teenagers, pay the minimum wage, or people volunteer, they just want to get out, and you do it in a distance way, but help the farmers because they're struggling. So there's a lot of different things, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, because the routine is gone.
Yeah, they're struggling with getting even when the guys come in from overseas, they have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. So when they get here, so that insecurity as well. What are the food prices going to be in July? What are we looking at here in terms of being able to go on a vacation? Somebody noted as a topic today of grieving what we're losing, and how do we actually do that? Because it has to come to a point where we realize that certain things we've lost. We have lost out on a good chunk of summer already because they've canceled many things, outdoor festivals, and all the things that you do to, you know, enjoy your time with your family or by yourself or whatever it is you do in the summer, realistically are going to be canceled. So how do we grieve that? Do we start grieving that now? Because we're going to go through a process of anger, and we're going to go through bargaining, and we're going to say, I'm going to do it anyway or whatever. So does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think it is going to be interesting this coming weekend because it's Easter long, right? So, and what do? You get together with family and friends on a long weekend. So I wonder how many people are just going to, like you said, say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going. We're just getting together. Like I can't, like how long do you hold out before you finally cave and give in, you know? Even though you're being told it's for the greater good, you know, how long do you, I don't know, hold the white flag? And it's surrender, I surrender, you know, I don't even know.
And then the conspiracy theories keep floating in, and then they create doubts in your mind as to why you really are holding in and what really is this about. Because, you know, like every time I go on Facebook, then it makes me doubt to some extent. I'm just being honest here, why I'm inside under quarantine. You know, like, is it really for self-preservation or not?
I completely agree with you, Renee. I think that there's a lot of people seeing, especially the people who are still actively working on a daily basis.
Yes.
They say, okay, when you get home, you go right inside your house, but don't be late for work tomorrow, kind of thing. And that's what my husband's saying to me. He says, okay, I can't hang out with my friends. I can't have a barbecue in my backyard, but I can go hang out with people I work with every single day because we're essential service. And so that's where he's struggling. And I see that too. And also, what's the tipping point? I think we're going to hit a tipping point for sure, where the majority of people aren't going to buy into this anymore. And I know we can do it for a period of time, but there is a time where we say, okay, what can I do now? Because I need to release us from this feeling of, because everybody was all for it, for a while. Then you can start to see the shift, a little bit of a shift in people's perspective of what's going on. And the amount of doubt that people have starts to creep in. Worth it? Is it worth it to not see, like my father doesn't get to see his granddaughter, for example? Is it worth it?
I think we're going to get into stricter. I think we have curfew coming our way. I was living in Costa Rica, so I was talking to a friend the other day, and they're in a 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can only be out at those certain times of day, certain license plate based on your number. You go out to do your shopping or your whatever those certain days. I have my brother and his wife are in Vancouver, and they have 2 small kids under the age of 2, and they're moving to Halifax, and they have to go into quarantine. They have to go into quarantine for 2 to 3 weeks in an Airbnb. Then they move over with my dad and my stepmom, and they can't see my mom and my stepdad aren't going to be able to see their grandkids. So there's all these realities, but I think it's going to get stricter before it loosens again, because there's still people getting together. I was speaking to a friend in Toronto. She knows 3 people that have had COVID. Her naturopath, a mother of a friend of hers had to go take the child to emergency a couple weeks ago, and just at the 2-week mark, she started having signs, and someone else, and it's not fun.
No.
Not fun. So they're okay, they're moving through it, but I think we have to remember that it is real,
right?
Obviously.
Yep.
But it's a hard thing, because it is real, but then how much, how are the rules too strict? You know what I mean?
Are the rules opposite too to what they should be? Should we have done this a different way?
Exactly.
Protected our most vulnerable and allowed the rest of society and the economy to continue. That's another way that people are looking at it. And maybe, and like I said at the beginning of this, we won't know until this is over.
Exactly.
Right way, or if we did it backwards, and we'll know better for next time, because there will be a next time. Let's be honest, we're living in a global world right now, so this is a great time to stop and learn, and then be prepared, because it's going to happen again, which is a scary thought for sure.
But then, because this becomes our new normal, we'll be acting in the confines of those set of rules, because on Monday of this week, I had a bad day, and I was hiding it. And my daughter texted me, and she goes, "Mom, what's wrong?" And then I opened up and I told her, I was really feeling so, la, la, la. And then she was the one who was consoling me and telling me, "Mom, it's just this, and this." And she goes, she said the one profound thing: "Why is it that I'm finding that you and Dad, the baby boomers, the ones most having the most difficulty in adjusting to this?" So there's the question, because she said, it's according to what they're saying, people like our age, the ones who are most vulnerable, like baby boomers, my era, are really the ones who are mostly challenging the issue and arguing and this and that. So I don't know if that's true, but that's something to think about.
It definitely is to think about. My dad and my mom fit into the realm, mostly my dad fits into the realm of, he can catch it very easily, and he's very vulnerable if he does. And probably he hasn't gone anywhere or done anything. He lives on a farm and he's busy, but would if he could. And if I brought my daughter to him, he would play with her, and that would be, he's like, "Well, if I get it, I get it." Like, they think they can survive anything. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be fine.
I think that's too. I mean, I think the majority of people will be fine, right? I mean, that's our bodies we're taking, and that's what I was really trying to tell my kids, because I'm being conscious of them you know, they were kind of told at school at the beginning of when this started, you know, the teacher was sort of like, you know, really, most likely you're not going to get it. It's the older population. And obviously things have shifted in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And my daughter is 8, and she just, I'm not going crazy with my cleaning and I'm doing what I can, but I can't do that in front of them. I can't have them so agitated with everything they touch and every little sneeze. So my thing is hand washing as much as we can, or a sneeze or hands on face, you know. And but besides that, in the house we're not in a bubble, so to speak. And my daughter, you know, I started saying something to her because she said something when they were with me last week. She's like, Mom, the hand washing. I said, look, this is the only thing that I'm really going to ask you to do. And I said, just so you know, there's more people getting it. So the hand washing. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to know any more information.
Good.
And I said, okay, you're right. I said, so just, and then she went right in and washed her hands. End of story.
Well done.
Yeah.
Something I'm thankful for is that my daughter doesn't understand what's happening right now. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to teach her in school. I don't have to worry about her wondering where her friends are. She never had any friends. She's happy as anything to be home with her mother every day. So she's a lucky little girl. But I am very thankful that I have a backyard that I can play in with her. So I'm not stuck in an apartment, and I'm not stuck, you know, locked in, and also that she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, things to be thankful for, right? I mean, and also when I am having those low moments, or those, you know, dark nights of the soul, so to speak, I think of the things that I can do. Like, okay, I can still, you know, I can still go to the grocery store, albeit I'll have to stand in line and stand outside and social distance, but I can still do that. Yeah, It looks different, but I can still do it. I can still go out for a walk, social distancing. You get to wave at people, say hi. I can still do that. So it's not that everything has been taken away. I think sometimes we just have to, you know, flip the script a little bit and be like, okay, yeah, I could be, it's all gone, you know, all gone to hell in a handbasket. Oh, what's this world going to become? Or you have a different choice. You can make a different choice and be like, okay, look at all the things I still get to do. I can bake all day if I want. I can sit on the couch and binge watch, I don't know, you know, Tiger King or
Tigers,
something.
don't say anything.
Oh my gosh, right? So bad. Anyway.
Viewers.
You can do all kinds of things. Our freedoms have been, I think, put on pause, slowed down, right? However, we live in the most incredible country in the entire world. We are so blessed and so lucky to have the things we have, and always bearing that in mind, you know?
Yep. I agree.
Something I want to just put out for the viewers, I felt like very stirred to say it, is that I'm amazed, but I've been getting a lot of phone calls. A lot of work at home opportunities seem to be pouring in, because I subscribe to like Indeed and some other ones, and there's a lot of jobs for work at home opportunity that's been popping up on my desk, on the website, I should say. But my point is that, you know, when I look at that, I think in my mind it's looking better and better every day, because if the concern for being home is over money, there may be opportunities where we could do part-time stuff because we're home. And if you have to, if you know you're working for you're getting less money, but you're not going out and you're not spending as much money. That's my point. So that eases the burden too.
You're right. I'm also working from home right now, technically. And that's, to me, it's kind of a win-win situation. I get to be home with my daughter and work from home. So I can look at that positively as well.
Can we talk a little bit too about the people that have to go out to work, the essential workers?
Yeah.
I read something on Facebook about how people are being treated in the grocery stores. People are having a bad day. They come in and they're just yelling at the cashier or whoever to say, why don't you have this? Or why do I have to wait in line? And they're taking all their frustration out on the people that are in the front lines. Not all of them, but some of them. So I think we really need to be mindful of those people, and you know, if you're frustrated, don't go shopping. Like, just realize what it is.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it out on that. And I know that there's some great people out there that are thanking everybody, and you get the mix of both worlds. But I think as this goes on too, we don't want to scare away these employees because they're the front line. And if you don't have anybody in the grocery store, then the lines are going to be a lot longer, right? And if you don't have truck drivers because they don't have bathrooms to go into or something to eat, we're not going to get, you know, the foods that we need. So we really need to work together as a community and understand that everybody's under the pressure, right?
That's right. Yeah. You know, that is just as true today during a crisis as it is anytime. Don't
absolutely
frustrated. These people who work in these positions in service industry do not need you being grocery with them ever. Not at McDonald's, not at Tim Hortons, not at the grocery store, nowhere. It's not right, and you shouldn't be taking any time your frustrations. But I have heard some pretty nasty stories of even young students. Remember that a lot of these are students. They're 17 years old, and they're working at grocery stores to make part-time cash, and they're putting their own families at risk to be there. So cut them some slack.
Yeah, I've been really going out of my way and making conversation, like thanking people that are stocking the shelves. And I mean, I consider myself one of those people that's always been respectful, but I've definitely stepped it up, and I'm literally thanking. I'm like, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. And it is and I've seen every age, but a lot of younger people. And just talking to people and saying like, and checking in and asking people how they're doing. And people have been really, it's been nice. I've had some really great conversations and really nice exchanges. So I hope that people will listen to this and do more of that. People are working so hard to keep everyone else healthy and happy.
Right. And if you can spend money locally, that would be something I would also encourage you to do. If you have a local, you know, restaurant that's doing a deal on a Friday night and you want to treat the family, this is your opportunity to do that. You are spending less money because you're not leaving your house to drive to work every day. Maybe you can put in a $20 towards something local.
Yeah.
Just one quick thing. What do you guys think about how they're saying we all should wear the mask? We should be covering up to protect the people. I felt like it's good, especially when we go shopping, for those little boys that are packing the shelves, that I would wear a mask over my face if perchance I'm a carrier for them more than anything else.
I definitely think that the feedback, the feedback on the masks is flippy floppy.
Yes,
but you know, if it's not going to hurt you to cover up your mouth, because you never know when you're coughing or, you know, do you have a society that spits all over each other? Because I didn't.
I'm glad you guys are far away.
I've heard flippy floppy things too, and it's like the distance and this and that. So I just took an old t-shirt. I had to go into Rexall yesterday, and I didn't even have it covered because I don't have a mask, and I'm not going to go hunting for masks. I'd rather leave them for the frontline workers.
Yep.
Right.
So I know it's not like, you know, some people are saying it needs to have a certain layer or you need to put wax over it so it doesn't absorb. I just have a t-shirt around my neck, kind of like a scarf. And then when I go in, I put it on. I'm like, it's a little something that I can do for myself and other people. So I don't think it doesn't have to be complicated, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Don't make it complicated. Just keep it as simple as possible. Do what you can. You know, some things are going to resonate, some things aren't, and that's okay too. It's all okay because we're all in this together and we're all trying to figure it out, right? So yeah, practice kindness and yeah, keep on keeping on, basically, because that's all we can do right now.
Yeah. Live day by day. You can't really forecast the future because we don't know it. Like, it's always changing, right? And we can't let the worries get to us. So we have
Try to stay out of your head and out of your thoughts as much as possible. Write the thoughts down. Like we talk about all the time, write down what's bugging you, what you're worried about, can fix. And if you can't, accept it. And that's all you can really do right now. You know, next week when we have a conversation, it might be a completely different world out there. So
exactly.
we don't know. Well, we have 1 minute left. So if anybody has anything that they want to add. We have 1 minute left. Yeah. So I only need 10 seconds to cut us out. But if you want to say anything else before we go.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy the time that we have talking to each other. And
Me too. Thank you.
I look forward to it. So
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Sending
guys.
lots of love through this channel. Lots of love.
Lots of love. That's right. Okay, I'm going to close this out. So thank you so much for joining us again today. We have Michelin, our holistic nutritionist, Christine, our doula, Tasha, our holistic counselor, and Renee, our psychotherapist. So thank you guys again for being on the call. And we'll have a new topic next week to talk about something a little more in depth. We're talking, I think, relationships. So we'll talk.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
All the best.
All the best.